Today I am going to be taking a piece of brisket flat, grinding it up, and turning it into a great hamburger that we're going to grill up out on the Weber Kettle. So I've got this piece of brisket flat here, and we've got to get this ready to go into the grinder because we're going to be making fresh ground brisket burger today. Now this is from sort of the part of the flat which lies over the point. My buddy Joe over at Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue, who knows a lot more about brisket than I do, helped me identify where this came from because it really wasn't labeled well in the store. In fact, this piece right here was labeled whole brisket. Well, it's not a whole brisket. But we're in some crazy times here in, April of 2020, so the butchers might be off their game a little bit in some places. But anyway, it's a good looking brisket. It is USDA prime. Let's get this cut up so we can grind it up. Now I'm just gonna go straight across and make cuts. I'm not gonna remove any of the fat. We want that fat in there. You can see on the other side, there's a good piece of fat. So let's get to it. And I just want sort of like maybe 1 inch, maybe a little bit more pieces. Let's take these, cut those into chunks. Now, if you don't have a grinder, I've seen people do this in a food processor. I've never done it in a food processor, but I've seen it done. All right, this is looking good. Let's get our grinder out here. So here's my grinder, and one of the things that's really important when you're grinding meat is you want to keep everything as cold as possible. So the actual metal grinding parts that we're going to put in here in a second have been in the freezer for about 2 hours. You want them really cold. The meat that I just chopped up is in the coldest part of the refrigerator right now, holding until it's ready to be ground up. So let's get our parts in here. Have the retaining ring off, get our auger in. Get our cutter on and our grinding die. I'm using the medium size for this. That's it, we're ready to grind. There we go, a nice bowl of freshly ground brisket. You can see a nice fat content in there. It's gonna be a great burger when we make it. I'm gonna be making several patties, but we're only gonna be cooking one right now. But right now, this is going back in the refrigerator to chill down before we form it into a patty. So our ground brisket has been chilling for about a half an hour now. And before I form it into burger patties, I wanna get a sauce ready. Now we're also going to be putting some bacon, some blue cheese crumbles, some red onions, some lettuce on this burger. But this sauce I want to be a little different with a bit of a punch. We don't want to take away from the flavor of the brisket. We just want to enhance it. So we're going to be doing a horseradish BBQ sauce. Super simple. Pick your favorite barbecue sauce. And what I'm working with here is just, I think it's a Kraft barbecue sauce, about 3 tablespoons. And to this I'm going to add, I don't know, a couple teaspoons, maybe a little bit more of some prepared horseradish. Let's see, maybe we'll go a whole tablespoon. Let's give it a real kick. Let's give it a little taste. It's got a punch. All right, I'm gonna put this in the refrigerator and we're gonna form our brisket burger patties. So we have our chilled ground brisket ready to go here, and you may be wondering, well, why do you keep chilling it? You had cold parts for the grinder and you chilled the meat, and every stage you chill this, and even after we form this, it's gonna go back in the refrigerator for probably another 20 minutes just to help firm up. Couple reasons. One, when you are grinding fresh meat, you're introducing heat, and bacteria loves heat, so you wanna get that meat chilled down. The other reason is the fat can turn to almost like glue when it heats up. So you get more of a really sticky burger, a sticky patty, and you don't want that. You want that fat to be able to render as you cook it. You don't want it just sort of smeared everywhere. So that's why we chill everything, and we'll chill it again before we cook it. So I have a burger ring here. It's a pretty good size one because I know there's gonna be a little bit of shrinking when the burger hits the grill. So this is what we're going to use. I'm going to fill this up with our brisket mixture. And I'm not trying to compress this really too much. I do want to give it a little bit of pressure to push together so it holds together. And I'm doing this on a piece of parchment paper here, but I wouldn't want to do this in like a burger press where you put a lot of pressure on it. I just want it to kind of fill the form here, get to all the sides. And it doesn't have to be as thick as this when it's not going to be. Now, one thing to make the release from the mold a little easier here is you can spray it with a little bit of vegetable oil. I didn't do that, so we'll see how we do here. Just gonna give it a little twist. There we go. Lift it up. All right, I'm gonna make some more of these. They're gonna go in the refrigerator for 20 minutes, and then I will see you out at the Weber Kettle. All right, so the Weber Kettle's going with the vortex, probably about half full. I've got my cast iron pan on here because I want to use this to toast the bun and cook up some bacon. It's gonna get a quick little toast on our bun. Not much at all. That's what I'm looking for, just a light toast. Get a few pieces of bacon in here. As always with my bacon, it's going to AFS, acceptable floppy state. This pan is hot, so it's not going to take very long. One of the other neat things to do is take bacon that's cooked a little bit like this and grind it up with the brisket. All right, I'm going to finish this bacon up, and then we'll move on to the burger. All right, let's get our brisket burger on. Gonna hit this with some kosher salt, some cracked black pepper. I like a lot of pepper. Gonna let this go for just a couple minutes on this side before we turn it. We may end up finishing it indirect. Let's give this a turn. Oop, coming apart there. Gotta rescue it. That's that fine line between not packing it enough and packing it too much when you're pressing down on the meat. Probably could have gone a little denser on it. We're gonna give this about 2 minutes and then we're gonna move it indirect, definitely. All right, we're gonna carefully slide this indirect without losing too much, hopefully. Oh boy, we're gonna have to pack this back together. Sometimes that happens. All right, I'm gonna get the lid on. I'm gonna let this go for probably about 5 minutes and we'll check it. All right, we've been going about 5 minutes. Let's check our temperature, and I think it'll be about time to get our blue cheese on top of this. It's gonna be tricky getting this off here in one piece. I should have packed this more tightly. I want somewhere around 150, 155 in this. Recommended temperature for this ground meat like this is 165, but it's personal choice. 155 is good for me. Let's see, we're looking at about 140. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some blue cheese crumbles on here. Maybe it'll act like some glue to help hold this together. All right, let's get our lid on. I think we've got about 5 minutes, maybe less to go. We'll check it in 3. All right, our burger's ready. I gotta be careful getting it over here in one piece, so I've got the bun ready. I'm just gonna put some lettuce down first. I'm also gonna put the bacon on the bottom here. Now it's burger time. Gotta say, even without anything else, that's looking good. Now I wanna get some red onion on here, and I'm just putting the raw red onion because it's a little bit of crunch, a little bit of freshness. Now finally, some of our horseradish BBQ sauce. There we have it, the freshly ground brisket burger with that horseradish BBQ sauce on it. some blue cheese, bacon, onions. It's looking like a great burger. I want to find out, so it's time to taste. Now, I could have cut this burger in half, but it's going to be a mess anyway. There is so much juice here. I'm just going to go whole, so here we go. I am staying gloved up though. Wow. Ground brisket, if you can do that, it's the way to go. The blue cheese is such a nice complement to that inherently beefy flavor that you get from using ground brisket. Nice punch from that horseradish barbecue sauce. I am seriously having to wipe my mouth after every bite. I think the fat content was just right with what was left on that piece of the flat when we ground it. This is great. So if you've got a small piece of brisket and you really don't want to have to smoke that to get it tender, consider grinding it, either using a grinder or a food processor. Turn it into some great burgers. Add your own favorite seasoning, your own favorite sauce, because here it really is that brisket burger patty that's the star of the show. Now I wish I'd made it a double.